Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm going to give kind of a stream of consciousness here, and I don't mean it to be offensive or anything else. I'm just trying to keep people understanding what's going on. And I look to Jerusalem as in Israel in general right now, and I know the anti, and I know the pro, and I'll eliminate the black Jews and all the other people who ignore the prophecy of Jerusalem and everything else. When it comes down to it, we know Jerusalem is going to be a battleground in the end. We know this from Daniel. We know this from the New Testament. I mean, even Matthew, Mark, and Luke. It wasn't John. It was Matthew, Mark, and Luke predicted that it was the abomination of desolation. Luke particularly said it was the surrounding armies in Jerusalem. We know this is the final end times event, and we're seeing it. You guys haven't paid attention. The Al Aqsa, which is technically the old temple, is the Muslims' idea of religious freedom in Jerusalem. And it's funny because the Jews pray at the wall, which is the Western Wall, and the Temple Mount. And the Temple Mount is sacred, but if you start looking at the history, it's probably the Roman temple, and the real temple probably situated in the city of David, but neither here nor there. It's what it is. I don't really predict where everything happened. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, in spirit and in truth, I know the Father's God and Jesus is the Son, and through the two of them, everything becomes whole. So, in spirit and in truth, that's where I go. So, I don't need the Ark of the Covenant. I don't need the Temple Mount to be accurate for my transmission of Scripture because it doesn't really matter. Never really mattered, right? It's Adam screwed everything up. Isaac and Abraham and Jacob, they set a path for us to get back. And Jesus fulfilled that. And now we have to go back. But it doesn't matter if you don't understand it, you don't understand it. But I'll sit back and tell people, if you're looking for the Islamic truth to be there, there's nothing truthful in Islam. I'm sorry. I love my Islamic brothers and sisters. There's no truth there. Muhammad wasn't a prophet. Muhammad didn't live a good life. And quite frankly, he doesn't represent any of the other prophets very well. He just doesn't. It's inconsistent. And if you start looking at what the other prophets said, you'll understand the inconsistency. But you're going to have to read more of the Quran. But we'll leave it there. I love you, my Muslim brothers and sisters. You've got your own problem. I can't win it for you. For my Jewish brothers and sisters, missing Christ was a bad idea. Really bad idea. And now you're going to be tested with the Isa battle. So it's going to be Isa versus Jesus. What you thought would be Jesus, what you thought wouldn't be Jesus. Read Isaiah. I have nothing to say to you other than read Isaiah. We can go through the Lamentations and everything else as they had it. You can't get it through Isaiah. Read the Psalms and the Proverbs. God pretty much declared it there at the time when he said, I am Alpha, I am Omega, I'm beginning and end. If you can't get it through Isaiah, you're never going to get it. And to my Christian brothers and sisters out there who didn't get it, it's tough because there's two of you out there. There's to be the pious people who thought they understood it, and then you're going to have the vile people Didn't get either. When you read through Christ's teachings and the things that he despised, it was forgive and forget, but you had to have some rational bounds, right? Like you couldn't just, well, everybody could do what they wanted to, but there's a point where you practice piousness, where you're saying I'm holier than you are, and there's a point where you sit back and say, well, everything's permissible, and that's where the problem will lie. So on the liberal side, if everything's permissible, you're going to be in problems. And on the Republican side, you sit back and say, I'm better than you are. It's probably not a good position either. I kind of know the middle. I know more of the middle ground. But needless to say, recognize your faults. Look to the Holy Father for forgiveness, because this whole thing follows a master plan that's greater than we are. And as much as I understand it, the more I understand it, the more I confuse the shit out of people. So I'm going to talk in a manner that is understandable. Love God with thy heart. Love Christ with thy heart. Recognize we're all sinful creations. Recognize Islam is not the way. Recognize in the Protestant church, Christ is the way to God, not your church, not any sort of false gospel or anything else, just God the Son. Recognize that and pull away from any other doctrines. Paul started doctrine. We've overdone doctrine. That's not for me. That's not for you. Just Father, Son, reconcilement. Because once the reconcilement's done, hope the last 7 years works in your favor. And I always say, God bless you. I think LAX is going to get hot. I think that world tensions are going to get hot. And quite frankly, I have a lot of personal opinions for that. But God bless you all. This is going to be an interesting prophetical time frame. Love you. God bless.